the next rule is the rule of the dominance. And here what we are going to do is we are going to delete the dominated rows. Now here it is of no use for for the pure strategy numericals, but let's create a background for pure strategy numericals, because it is easy to understand pure strategy numericals with rule of dominance. And after that we have created a background for pure strategy, then we'll be going towards the mixed strategy, so where the understanding will be better, right? So we have a numerical, and I'll be making you understand why there is need of rule of dominance as well. So particularly I have to I was going to explain it for only the mixed strategies only. So I have started with if no pure strategy exists, but then I found out that let's firstly explain this rule of dominance for the pure strategy, and then I will be moving towards the mixed strategy, right? So you can apply this for both pure strategy as well as the mixed strategy, right? So if what is the scenario here? The If no pure strategy exists, the next step is to eliminate the certain strategies or rows or columns by the dominance, right? Rows or columns of the payoff matrix that are inferior or inferior to at least one of the remaining rows or columns are deleted from further considerations, and the resulting game can be solved for some mixed strategy. So here what we are going to do is we are going to particularly delete those rows or columns of the payoff matrix that are inferior to at least one. No, here we have to remember this: inferior to at least one of the remaining rows or columns are deleted from further considerations. And then nextly we can solve the numerical by the mixed strategy also, that we are going to see, right? So firstly we are going to start with what is the dominance rule for the columns. What this particular columns, every value in non-dominating columns must be less than or equal to the corresponding values of the dominated column, right? So what they are saying, that every value in the non-dominating column must be less than or equal to the corresponding values of the dominated column. So I'll be explaining you when I'll be particularly telling this, but just remember this sentence. Similarly, we have the dominance rule for the row as well. So in every value in the non-dominating rows must be greater than the dominating row. Now, when we'll be seeing the numerical, it will be very easy for you to understand what I was talking about, right? So this is the numerical. The following table represents the payoff matrix with respect to player A. Solve it optimally using the dominance property that they have set. But if we do not use dominance property, how this numerical will get solved? That is very easy, because it is having particularly we can find out row minimum values, and you'll be getting particularly these concept, and then you can find out column max values, and then you'll be getting this particular value. You'll be getting that the max min value is equal to minimax value is equal to 8, and there is the saddle point that is present, right? And the value of the game is 8. The player A will player A will play the strategy 3, strategy 3, and player B will play strategy 1, right? Because of this value, right? So particularly this was related with the saddle point. Now how we can solve this particularly with the dominance rule as well? So particularly let's they have said us that to use dominance property, right? So मैंने वही वाला मैट्रिक्स वापस से ये किया है यहाँ पे. Now what I have done is I haven't found out row max no, I haven't found out row minimum values and the column max values, right? What I have done is I have found out now I have taken the sum of all these values. So if you do the sum of all these values, 6 plus 4 plus 5 plus 10 plus 6 will give you the value as 31, right? After that 7 plus 8 plus 5 plus 9 plus 10 will give you the value as 39. 8 plus 9 plus 11 plus 10 plus 9 will give you the value of 47. And lastly, 6 plus 4 plus 10 plus 6 plus 4 will give you the value of 30. Now what we are going to do is now we are going to start with the minimum value first. For the row, it is always related with the minimum value, right? So we are going to start with the minimum value, and here we are going to compare this row with all the other 3 rows, राइट। तो ये वाला रो का कंपैरिजन, मतलब ये वाले रो का कंपैरिजन हम लोग किसके साथ करने वाले, एक एक करके ये तीनों भी रोज के साथ करने वाले, राइट। सो नाउ पर्टिकुलरली वी आर गोइंग टू चेक वेदर देयर इज अ प्योर डोमिनेंस और नॉट, right? So for dominance, particularly what should happen is that, particularly the other row should have, particularly higher values. All the values in the other row are going to be greater than this particular row under consideration, right? So अभी हम लोग रो वन ये करते हैं, तो रो वन के ये वाले वैल्यूज हम लोग किसके साथ कंपेयर करेंगे, ये वाले वैल्यूज के साथ कंपेयर करेंगे। सो 6 इज लेस देन 4, 4 is no 6 is sorry 6 is greater than 4, 4 is less than 6। तो यहाँ पे आप लोग देख सकते हो कि देर इज नो कंप्लीट डोमिनेंस, यहाँ पे ये वाला वैल्यू बड़ा है, यहाँ पे ये वाला वैल्यू बड़ा है, तो देर इज नो कंप्लीट डोमिनेंस। सो वी आर गोइंग टू चेक विथ आवर अदर रो। नाउ हियर वी कैन सी, 7 is greater than 6, 8 is greater than 4, 5 is less than 10. So here also what is happening, there is no complete dominance. These two values are particularly greater, and here this value is now appearing greater, so there is no complete dominance. Now let's check with this other value here. So 8 is greater than 6, 9 is greater than 4, 11 is greater than 10, 10 is greater than 6, and 9 is greater than 4, right? So what this particular rule for our, this say that for rule of row, every value in the non-dominating rows must be greater than the dominating row. So greater than the dominating row मतलब क्या, ये आपका particularly dominating every value in the non-dominating row, मतलब ये वाला वैल्यू क्या है आपका, ये आपका पर्टिकुलरली नॉन डोमिनेटिंग रो है और ये आपका डोमिनेटिंग रो है, क्योंकि पर्टिकुलरली इफ यू आर थिंकिंग ऑफ रो, it is always related with the minimum value only. So here if we compare these two particular rows, what is happening in this row, particularly all the values are less than this particular row. So what we'll have to do, we have this particular row is acting as a dominated row and we'll have to delete it. So why we are deleting it, I have particularly stated here, deleted as row 3 is dominating over, no particularly no as deleted as row 3 is dominating over it, right? So particularly I have deleted this row, right? So now what we are going to see now, all the values are in the non-dominating. So here particularly the now after 30 we are going to move towards 31. So here we particularly here while writing I think I made a mistake. It is not dominating. You can particularly write row deleted as no, deleted after comparison with row 3. Don't write this particular word. It got no particularly dominating वगैरह, ये क्योंकि ये वाला जो रो है, this is actually the dominating row. 6, 4, 10, row number 4 is your dominating row. So please delete this particular sentence. When I'll be sending you the copy, it would have been deleted only, but as of now particularly remember that this is not to be written. It is deleted after the comparison with row 3. Here also it got particularly written. So now after 30 we are going to check the dominance for this particular row which is having 31, right? So we are going to compare this row with all the other rows, right? And the other rows मतलब अभी यहाँ पे कितना रो है, 2 ही रो है, 4 वाला रो तो पहले से डिलीट हो गया। तो here we are going to check 4 is less than 7 and 6 is less than 8, 5 is equal to 5, 10 is greater than 9, and here 10 is greater than 6. So there is no complete dominance, right? Because यहाँ तक तो सब ये वाले छोटे थे, particularly यहाँ तक ये वाले छोटे चल रहे थे, बीच में ये वाला बड़ा आ गया, वापस यहाँ पे एक बड़ा आ गया, there is no complete dominance. Now again we are going to check it with row 3 now. So 8 is 8 is greater than 7, 9 is greater than 8, 11 is greater than 5, 10 is greater than 9, and 9 is greater than 10. So particularly which is this is particularly now this can be deleted because this is acting as a dominance, right? यहाँ पे सब वैल्यू छोटे, so it in row it is related with the smaller values only. So this is acting as a dominated row, and hence we are going to delete this particular row. Right now, we are going to check the dominance after this. After 31, it is about 39. So we are going to compare this to 8 7 8 9 5 11 10 9 and 10 9 here. So here it is larger, here it is larger, so there is no complete dominance. So this has been over now. Now after, this particularly after row reduction, what we are going to get is this type of matrix. Right, there are only two rows, 2 and 3. So now what we are going to do after row reduction, we are going to apply the column reduction. So in column reduction, column values are always related with what? The maximum value. So column में पहले यहाँ पे क्या था कि रो में we were concerned about the columns which are having all the lower values, and in columns we are going to concern we are getting concerned for the columns which are having the greater values over the other values. तो वो वैल्यूज को हमको डिलीट करना है. तो हम लोगों ने क्या किया, यहाँ पे जैसे रोज के वैल्यू को ऐड किया था, यहाँ पे हम लोगों ने कॉलम्स के वैल्यूज को ऐड कर दिया. तो 8 + 7 is 15, 8 + 9 is 17, 5 + 11 is 16, 9 + 10 is 19, and 10 + 9 is 19. Now we are going to start with, यहाँ पे हम लोगों ने 30 से चालू किया था, because in row it is related with the minimum values, but in columns it is related with the higher values. Right, so we are going to start with this because it is on the higher side. So we are going to check this particular, we are going to compare this with the other things. So here, comparing it with column 1, so 7 and 9, 7 is on the lower side, 8 and 10, and particularly 8 10 is on the higher side. So that मतलब क्या, यहाँ पे ये वाले कॉलम में सब ज्यादा ही वैल्यूज है, तो इसको हम लोग क्या कर सकते हैं, डिलीट कर सकते हैं आफ्टर कंपैरिजन विद our column 1. Right, similarly moving towards next higher value, that is 19. So 19 में अगर हम लोग गए तो यहाँ पे वापस से कॉलम 1 के साथ कंपेयर किया तो 7 और 10, तो यहाँ पे वैल्यू ज्यादा है, वापस से 8 और 9 यही पे वैल्यू ज्यादा है. तो अगेन दिस इज अगेन ऑन द हायर साइड if we compare it with column number 1. So it is deleted after particularly as it is dominating over the column 1. Right, so now after 19, which is the higher value, it is 17. So now comparing it with the 17, this particular column is to be compared with all this. So 7 और 8 में 8 बड़ा है, 8 और 9 में 9 बड़ा है. There is complete dominance, and because of this dominance, what is going to happen, this particular column will get deleted because it is having dominance over column 1. Now the remaining columns that we after 17, the column that we have is 16. So comparing 16, 7 and 5, and 8 and 11, so there is no complete dominance. Here it was on the higher side, here it was on the higher side, so there is no complete dominance. So after column reduction, what we are going to get, after column reduction we are going to get only these two values. Now after column reduction, what we have got is, we have got this particular matrix. So but now what we are going to do is, after column reduction we are again going to go for row reduction. राइट, सो कॉलम रिडक्शन हो गया, वापस से रो रिडक्शन करने वाले यहाँ पे. तो रो रिडक्शन अगर हम लोगों ने किया तो 7 + 5 is equal to 12, 8 + 11 is equal to 19. तो 12 से चालू करेंगे, and if we are going to see if there is a complete dominance. Right, so comparing the rows, so here 8 is greater than 7 and 11 is greater than 5. So because of that, what is happening, these are on the lower sides and hence have a complete dominance. Right, so what we can do is deleted as dominated by particularly dominated over row 3, ये लिखना था. So again you can see after comparison with row 3. So after that, what will happen, this row will entirely get deleted, and what nextly we have is particularly only two values, that is 8 and 11. So 8 and 11 are again two columns. Right, and in two columns particularly, this is one column and this is one column. So again we are going to compare, and after comparison what we found out, there is a complete dominance. So hence we are going to delete this particular 11 value. Right, so now the final answer is what, the final answer is 8. Right, and hence the value of the game is also 8. Right, नाउ व्हाट प्लेयर ए शुड, प्लेयर ए को कौन सा स्ट्रैटेजी खेलना चाहिए? द प्लेयर ए शुड प्ले स्ट्रैटेजी 3 only. And what player B should play the strategy? Player B should play the strategy 1, as this particularly is here. So this is the final answer. So when this particular answer should match with your previous answer, right? तो यहाँ पे अगर आप लोग देखोगे तो value of the game is 8. Player A will play select strategy 3 and player B 1. So same is here. Same answer you have got. ठीक है? So this is for the pure strategy, right?